Hello, Joe, and welcome back to Australia. We have seen your bonus episode or listened to your bonus episode of, I think, what we can call a 101 in how to get an apartment in Bangkok. It was chaotic, it was very you, it was fantastic. I loved the roller coaster of no, we're not selecting anything. The girls are going to decide when they come here. Next minute, I'm at the airport. I'm pretty much going to lock it in. And I think we have further developments for our listeners. So I'm not sure you'll be able to remember everything you recorded, but I can. So if we start repeating ourselves, I'll check in on you. But I'd love to hear how you're feeling after sort of a couple of days back home after what was a real whirlwind of a trip.
Well, I think we should fully disclose that we did actually try recording this the day that I landed, and it was like, you talk about chaotic, it was chaotic, and I had literally just had like a nap on the floor in my office. I am obviously not dealing with like 9.5 hour flights very well anymore. So I don't think I'm aging gracefully as a traveler, which is a bit disappointing to hear. But I think. Yes, there has been one slight update on no, I'm just going to look at places and then bring the kids back and they can feel some ownership over it, to me arriving in Sydney off the back of being on the plane for nearly 10 hours to like a bunch of messages from the real estate agent saying, someone else is looking at the place if you want it, like we need to put down a deposit. And so I, at like 11 o'clock at night, paid a deposit on an apartment. So we now have somewhere to live. So I think I was kind of like, oh gosh, how's this going to go with the kids? But because I'd sort of kept them updated with my video tours of the place, they were already invested by the time I got back to Wagga and picked them up. And so I said, I told the people that had that apartment, the one with 4 rooms, that we wanted it, and they were like, yay, we've already been deciding who's having what room and things. I was like, okay, good. So that's good.
That's amazing.
And then because I've been feeling so horrible the last couple of days getting off the plane, I'm like, do I have to go in March? Do I have to take you guys? I know I promised you a trip. And so I said, like, how keen are you guys to go over and have a look? And the older one was like, no, I don't need to go. And the little one's like, yeah, you promised. And I was like, anyway, that's a next big conversation.
That could be a daddy-daughter trip, maybe?
Well, he will be there already when we were planning on going. And so I wonder, can I put the 10-year-old on the plane by herself yet? Probably not. Probably not.
So I actually think there are 2 really great lessons there. One is, you did so much research before you left and getting there and trusting your gut when you were there. Like, I loved hearing about how you had sort of seen this one neighborhood and heard great things about it and thought we might be looking in that area specifically. And then when you're on the ground, you're like, actually, this isn't for us. And sort of, cleared your time and really focused on that other area where you've ended up finding an apartment. And so that's a lesson in research and trusting your gut. And I also just want to say, like, what? You're in the other area.
Yeah.
Yo, seriously.
I know the agent was like, there's just one. I know you don't want to look on this side, but there's just one I want to show you because I think you'll like it. And I was like, no, I don't really. She's like, just trust me. Just let me show you this one. And that's where we've ended up.
Okay. I take it all back. No lessons to be learned. People stop listening. Turn it off. Okay, just trusting your gut then.
So you can go on and tell me the other lesson that you thought, but
Well,
maybe.
okay. I actually think that lesson still stands, trusting your gut, because it is something that you have to do on these kind of trips. And I wanted to call out, you mentioned that we did try to do a recording on the day you came back. And it was exhausting because you were trying to acclimatise back into life in Australia. And I was actually getting ready to go away on holidays. So we were both trying to squeeze too much into too little time. And I think the fact that we called it and were like, no, this isn't right, is also something that I'm really proud of the way we work together, and also a lesson for people, because sometimes you can be trying to do too much and it's okay to hit pause and come back and do this fabulous recording, which is going so smoothly with the amazing lessons I'm pulling out of it. So
Well,
um,
I'm sorry that all of my good intentions, it's so funny, like my tape measure, my good intentions of measuring things when I was going around. Anyway, so maybe we need to sort of look at this as a here's an example of how one person does it. Take what you want from these learnings.
Oh, 100%. I don't think we're trying to write a manual for how to move. That would be probably not our best business decision, but that's exactly what this is. And I think what you're doing is making it feel real and relatable. And we've had that feedback over the last week from some of our members that, you know, watching this process for you and listening in as you do it has been an opportunity for people to reflect on the skills that they have developed doing similar moves and the mental load they're carrying and how big that job is. So the fact that you're able to be so real about what you're going through, and you're also really positive about the challenges that you're facing. And I think that's quite uplifting for people to hear that. So even when it's really hard, you are able to sort of look at it and be like, and this is also happening. And so we've had that feedback from our members. I know you've heard it already, but I think it is important to remember, because we're not trying to tell you this is how to move. This is just one person's experience.
I think there's definitely, excuse me, there's definitely some, I suppose, some self-preservation at play, trying to do the positive, upbeat thing as well. And I hope that it doesn't come across at all that like I'm just skipping through this, because I know that even just for how I roll, that I have to sort of silver lining things and be like, oh, okay, direction change, let's roll with that. That is sort of, so I guess how I roll in daily life, but it's definitely, I'm having to double down on that at the moment, because like I'm exhausted, and like I said, I've underestimated how much that sort of knocked me around. A quick trip with a just annoying amount of time difference. Like 4 hours is not like doing Australia, we always have to deal with a time difference because we're literally at the bottom of the earth and so far from anywhere, and everywhere you go there's at least a bit of a time difference, but it's normally a lot more dramatic than 4 hours. But I'm really feeling that that's knocked me around, because I sort of was just hitting my straps in that time zone to then come back and, have a plane delayed, like a domestic flight delayed and things. And I just was like, ugh. So yes, I'm feeling pretty rough physically.
Yeah. But you're also having to bring home that positive attitude for your
Yeah.
kids. Like, I think that's been something that's been really consistent throughout all this, is that role that you're playing for your family emotionally. We all know that that's a really challenging time, whether we've gone through it personally or watched our partner go through it. Even if it's the best job in the world and they're doing an awesome job, it's the feeling of like, God, I'm the new kid on the block, and needing to sort of have that pep up. And so you'd be playing that role as wife as well as the role as mother of making this a really fantastic experience for the kids, even if it has been challenging. Plus,
Yeah.
you're selling your house, you're saying goodbye to your community, you're saying goodbye to your family. It's a lot. So, and I think you are real about that as well. So I don't think you actually are coming to this all silver lining, but you are able to bring that to the conversation as well.
Well, yeah, and I think I might add in there that while I am very much playing the role as the peppy sort of cheer squad of this whole concept with the kids, my my husband sort of, if I get any sort of like wobbles from him, I'm like, get it together. You're the one. You're the one that needs to hold this together, because I'm keeping it together for everything else, and so you need to be able to keep it together for me.
Always see the best of us. That's okay. We can
Yeah,
save those bits for.
true, true. But
And I think I hearing you say that is actually making me reflect on when we moved to Singapore, and I held all that excitement for my husband when he was going through that. And I also felt like this feels really like hard and unfair that I'm just at home doing this other stuff and I don't get to have these cool experiences. And I remember finding that really hard. Again, sitting with both those feelings of, I'm so happy for you, like the person I love most in the world, doing this amazing thing. And this feels really unfair, and I want to be doing really cool things with my career, and I want that. Like, I have that capability in me as well. And here I am sorting out how a couch will fit in an apartment.
Oh,
Have
look,
you had
and
any of those feelings?
absolutely. That sort of trying to glass half full it is I can do it vicariously through him. Um, I can be happy for him to do it. I'm allowed to feel jealous as hell about it. But I also was like, okay, hopefully his remuneration will actually allow us to do a lot more of these things, like as a family, in a holiday, as a holiday, all of those sorts of things. So I hear you completely. I hear you completely. Um, it you can't help it. It sprung up with each of these things, you know. And he said, "Oh, you know, the Pakistani team's really keen for me to get over there," and I was like, but then I suppose I went one step further than you, and I was a bit like, oh, man, if we leave the kids in Australia and send them to boarding school, like I could just go on these trips with him. That was the next worst thing. So I feel that feels worse. I was like, how can I pay for my children so I can go with him on these work trips?
Yeah,
So,
I think, I mean, everyone does it their own way. I think, I think I'm quite interested in how you lift yourself out of those moments, because I do think for a lot of people, it can be quite easy to get stuck in the down. And I think that's, I mean, again, that's why we have started Allura, for people who are feeling the down and maybe not so able to get themselves out. And that's the whole purpose of what we're building here, having learning and development and connection that you can keep yourself motivated wherever you are. So for you, in like, it sounds like a reframe and an ability to be like, yes, I can feel that, and this is what we get out of this is really helpful for you. Is there anything else that you think from your past experience and as you go into this? I mean, you've got businesses that you're working on as well, so it's not like you're that's your sole purpose. But I'm interested in, I think our members would be really interested in how you manage to keep the glass half full.
so I guess there's a few elements to that. One is, like you said, I have built a career over, like, since I left the classroom as a primary school teacher, which is where I'm actually trained, I have built a career that is globally mobile, specifically because I wanted to live life like this. And to be fair, even if I go back to choosing a career in education, I chose that because I could travel as a, you know, a single person. I can teach anywhere in the English speaking world, pretty much, that Australian teachers can get a working visa and things. So I I'm the daughter of reformed gypsies, I guess, that like have always been big travelers, and so this is very much in me. So I know that I'm quite often different to a lot of people that are doing this, because that I'll take what I can get. If moving around means that, like, you know, it's not actually that beneficial to me, but I still get to do it on the coattails of my husband, which sounds quite grim, but when you put it like that, but I'll take what I can get. So there's an element of that for me. So that it makes it easier for me to be glass half full, because I'm like, yeah, I'll go. Like when this sort of email came through with like, do you want, there's a role going in Bangkok, are you interested? I was like, yes, I'm always interested. Let's
Yeah.
do it. So that is different. I think the trying to really always focus on those bits that are positive, and I know that that can be also like a punish for people who are feeling rubbish about things, to have someone that, you know, is bouncing off the walls with excitement about moving when they are potentially not. I'm always thinking about, like, okay, never see an opportunity as wasted time. Like, okay, if you're leaving a big career and a trajectory that you were, set on and all of these things, how do you take advantage of like this opportunity, which quite often is time? And if you've come out of a really fast paced career, this is such a gift often for people that they're like, actually, do you know what? I'm doing my thing and I'm climbing the ladder and I'm doing all of these things with my career and I haven't actually ever got the time because you're doing the doing. So have a think about what are the things. So like obviously joining a Laura and doing the stuff that we're doing because like that's fun and you get community around it as well. But like, is there professional development that you have put off because you're actually busy doing the grind plus life plus having a social life and all of those things? So those opportunities, I've already started having a look, which I'm like, stop doing this, stop looking at things. But there's this amazing women in leadership short course that you can do through Cambridge University online. Like there's so many of these in a post-COVID world, these major institutions that were always so like, cagey and you can't get in and you've got to go and pay hundreds of thousands of dollars and you've got to go on campus to be able to even go and do these things. They're all desperate for people's custom now. And so you can literally get in and you can do amazing short courses and you can, sit down and actually do readings of articles or journals or things that will build your skills and knowledge and understanding that you just genuinely never normally have the time to do. And so I think being able to lean into that and just flipping that switch again, being like, okay, my paid employment has stopped, and you may feel like, okay, this is a really annoying thing that there has been sort of like this stopper on my career. But again, if you are leaving a role that was supportive of your career growth and trajectory and an organization that was obviously giving you opportunities or an industry that was or things, stay connected with those bosses and managers and leaders. Talk about what would things look like, what would be appealing if I was to come back in 2, 3, 5 years or whatever that I could be doing in the meantime. And they might say, well, actually, this is an area where we see that your skill set and an area we're looking to branch into, maybe you could go and build skills in that sort of thing to come back to, or, having time to get some professional coaching or to do some, maybe some therapy, like maybe there's been some head noises or things that have been sort of ticking away in there that you just don't have time or you haven't prioritized time to work on yourself and your mental health and your physical health and all of those things. Like if you can flip this to thinking of it as being a gift, it changes the whole narrative in your head. And I think that's definitely like just even thinking about that. Me moving, I'm already thinking my commute has gone. So for me to go anywhere is like a 45-kilometer drive. So if I run out of milk, that's what in each direction. So, I'm driving a minimum of 90 kilometers a day if I leave. I'm still driving 20 kilometers to drive my kids to the bus if I don't take them into town. So that will be removed from my life. Just straight up.
Yeah.
Going to a supermarket is probably also going to be removed from my life because everywhere in the world, including Australia, I shouldn't poo-poo it so much, but like I can order the groceries and they'll be delivered in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Access to external help of like not having to cook or do any of those things. Like this is such a gift for so many people in so many different places. If you're doing the expat scene, I know you're going to be like, if you're a trailing spouse of a doctor or a police sergeant or something, and you're living in like a remote rural community in like, the prairies of the middle of US or in Canada or somewhere very isolated like this, you'll be eye rolling at me because you're pretty much
Joe. Yeah.
moving from everything I'm moving to, you're moving from into like a rural area. I empathize. But like for me, it makes it much easier to sort of flip it like that. And again,
Yeah.
I'm a complete extrovert. I'm so excited about making new friends and doing all of
Yeah.
those as well.
But I love that because I think, I mean, yeah, time is the only thing we can't sort of get more of. It's such a luxury, and it is can be frustrating if you're not in a great space and someone tries to Pollyanna the situation. But I do think that reframing is actually really helpful. And I know you weren't trying to do a sales pitch then, but I will, which is that's exactly what we're trying to do with all these little snapshots we give each month. And you actually touched on a bunch then, like our session with Amanda Sharoff around therapy and what that looks like diving into that and re-listening, looking at the checklist we had of like how to find a great therapist, like that's the tools we're giving you. Or if you did one of our sessions on AI and thought, hey, this is really actually something that I think I could really get into, like now you have a little taster that you can go and launch into it. And that's what we're trying to give people. So um, I love that. And the other thing you said was the reading lots of different articles. And you and I are both massive readers, and we started a book club with Alora, which is again doing exactly that. So we have like 2 non-fictions, 2 fictions, and we're doing that because it's something we love, but also that's an opportunity for our members to dive into different topics and connect on that. So there's a sales pitch, which you weren't even trying to do, but I will just put in black and white for everyone. I am very conscious that you are still recovering from your rapid trip. Is there anything else you wanted to share with our members?
Uh, Only that I am actually really grateful for this. One, because I get to sort of debrief each week and sort of, I guess, process out loud what I'm thinking and doing and stuff. But I also think this is such a treat that I'll be able to look back on this as well. And like, I don't know, it would be really cool if and when like either of us go home or move somewhere else and things, that we actually do a next chapter of this as well, because it'd be interesting to see what like a diary of a repatriation looks like, or
Yeah.
another a move that is not from your home country to another country. So like, watch this space, I think. But like, I think it's just going to be a really nice thing to be able to look back on. Like I've already sort of thought about selling the house and having all of these professional photos of the house and, the drone flying over and all of these things, that it's actually a really amazing treat that we've got all these photos and things of the house looking beautiful as well to remember it with. So it's just nice. Like there is some cool things that are coming out of all of this as far as being able to stack the memory bank as well.
Well, I love your glass half full attitude, Joe. I think it is such a gift. I personally find it such a gift because I think sometimes I can sometimes go the other way. And I know, and you've heard, our members are loving this as well. So it's a gift for you, but it's a gift for a lot of other people. So thank you so much for being so open and honest in your sharing. I know you don't know any other way to operate, but it's unique for some people and it's so appreciated.
Unwarranted as well sometimes, or
Absolutely
unsolicited.
not. No, it's appreciated. All right. I hope you keep getting some good sleeps and get back into this time zone, and we'll chat to you next week.
Well, no, who knows what will have happened in another week of doing these things. I'm finding this as amusing as you are. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, yet another thing that I sort of didn't know would happen. So I'll keep you posted.
Can't wait. See you, Joe.
Bye.